Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else, this is Jan Paval on Monday, January 12th, with this week's Access Arts Live roundup of big stage live stream action for the week of January 12th to January 19th, 2026. Yes, we are in a new year, folks, and Access Arts Live is still going strong. Looking forward to providing you with another more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in the coming year. And along those lines, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live to make sure you get those more than 1,000 live links to live performances online. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. We want to be wherever you are so that all you have to do is just wander over from where you usually hang out and click on Access Arts Live to find out, well, what's live streaming today. And this week's big stage productions, we have opera from the Wiener Staatsoper, the Vienna State Opera, one of the tops in the world, free of charge. We've got orchestra works in Tomsk, Siberia, Stuttgart, Germany, Bournemouth, England, Lahti, Finland, Stockholm, Sweden, Berlin, Detroit, Cincinnati, Cologne, and more. And I can't wait now to get to tell you all about them. Now, the first of these will be happening on Wednesday. Well, one caveat I want to add in here. There may be additional works coming out this week from the Sao Paulo Orchestra, from the Gulbenkian Orchestra, from the Moscow Philharmonic, the St. Petersburg Philharmonic. But these people do not make it easy for me to know exactly what they're live streaming and when. But as the week unfolds, when they finally put up some specific information, we'll let you know. Starting out Wednesday, Wednesday, January 14th, the Tomsk Philharmonic live streams a very varied concert by the Chamber Philharmonic Orchestra of the Tomsk State University with pianist Daria Mateeva playing along with them. I was unable to find much more information about this group than that. They're playing pieces by Jenkins, by Morricone, by Piazzolla, by Vivaldi, by Grieg, by Zimmer, by Pachelbel, by Khachaturian. It's a real potpourri of music on Wednesday, fairly early in the day, because that's at 7 in the evening, KRAT time in Siberia, 1 o'clock here in Europe, 8 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 11 o'clock at night down under in Australia. You have two other possibilities, though, for you this coming Wednesday. Perhaps you would like to sit in on a rehearsal. Wednesday, January 14th, you can get a head start and a little education about the SWR Symphony's upcoming performance. Let me back that up because I want to show you the photograph of the parties who are going to be involved. This is coming to you from the SWR Symphony, which is Stuttgart and related areas. Wednesday, January 14th, to get a head start and a little education about the SWR Symphony Orchestra's upcoming performance this Friday, January 16th, as chief conductor Francois-Xavier Roth continues his open rehearsals called Dans la cuisine du chef, in the chef's kitchen. And on the menu Wednesday will be Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun. That'll be at 7 in the evening, European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 in the morning on the West Coast. It's an open rehearsal. And what he's going to do is he's going to be talking to you about the what he calls the layers of ingredients in the masterworks of great composers like Beethoven and Debussy and Haydn. And it's live streamed, and it looks forward to, I'll jump ahead, Friday, January 16th. Francois-Xavier Roth leads the SWR Symphony in Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, Maurice Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe ballet in 3 parts, and brings in Philippe Manouri, the top, and brings brings in Philip Manouri's Saccade for flute and orchestra, played by top flautist Emmanuel Pahud. That'll be at 8 o'clock on Friday evening, 2 o'clock European time, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 o'clock on the West Coast, 6 o'clock in the morning down under in Australia. Emmanuel Pahud, if you followed Access Arts Live, you would have heard him already last year, June 14th. He played Takamitsu's I Hear the Water Dreaming for flute and orchestra with the Berlin Philharmonic. We told you about that. He's a top international flautist. And the Debussy Prélude à l'après-midi d'une faune, if you tune in on Wednesday, you can watch the rehearsal for it and be better prepared for what's coming. And then they finish up with Ravel's Daphnis and Chloe ballet in 3 parts. It isn't all that often that you get to hear an entire ballet, so you ballet enthusiasts, you might want to tune into this. But there's yet a third occasion for you to enjoy orchestral music on Wednesday, January 14th, getting back to that. Bournemouth Symphony in England looks toward the warmer climes of Spain as guest conductor Ludovic Morlo conducts music of or inspired by the Iberian Peninsula, Wednesday, January 14th, with top pianist Steven Osborne joining in, works by Turina, De Falla, Debussy, and Ravel. That'll be at 8:30 in the evening European time, 2:30 in the afternoon in New York, 11:30 in the morning in LA, and 6:30 the next morning down under in Australia. Ludovic Morlo is the music director of the Barcelona Symphony Orchestra, has been since 2021. All through the teens, he was musical director of the Seattle Symphony, and he got them into such great shape. They won 5 Grammy Awards while he was conducting with them. And he still goes there every season as conductor emeritus for a few weeks. He's also an associate artist of the BBC Philharmonic, and he was in China from 2017 to 2021. Before taking up his post at Barcelona, he was a founding member of the National Youth Orchestra of China. Quite a guy. As for Steven Osborne, well, he's the kind of guy that last year he was on tour around the U.S. with the top musician Benjamin Beilman, and he's done residencies at places like Wigmore Hall, at Antwerp's Day Single with the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. He's got 32 recordings on Hyperion label, which have won multiple awards. So this will be a good evening. Turina, they'll play his Danzas Fantásticas, 3 pieces. Then De Falla's, of course, Nights in the Gardens of Spain, about the wonderful gardens in Granada and Cordoba. Then Debussy's Iberia and Ravel's Bolero. Those guys, turn of the century Frenchmen, turn of the 20th century, they were just wild about Spanish music. So should be a good time. It's not free of charge. They charge you £11 to watch one of their live streams. You can buy a season ticket if you really love them. We move on to Thursday. Thursday night, you can enjoy 2 top concerts in a row coming from Scandinavia. One at 5:30 European time and one at 7 o'clock European time from Finland and Sweden, both free of charge. I will be going to the one in Sweden because I'm in Stockholm in person and probably do an intro on the steps of the concert house out front if you want to tune into that. I do it because I can. Anyway, Thursday, January 15th, British conductor Andrew Manns leads the Lahti Symphony in Vaughan Williams' Serenade for Music, Sibelius' 5th Symphony, and Beethoven's Concerto for Violin, Cello, and Piano, with award-winning stars, violinist Christelle Lee, pianist Dennis Kozukin, and cellist Jonathan Ruseman on board. Wow, that's at 5:30 in the evening, as I mentioned, European time, 11:30 in the morning on the East Coast, 8:30 on the West Coast, because it's 6:30 in the evening there in Finland, which is where the Lahti Symphony is located, close to where Sibelius himself came from. Andrew Mans is the principal guest conductor of the Scottish Chamber Orchestra and of the Royal Liverpool Phil. He's known as a connoisseur of John Sibelius's music, and he's conducting Sibelius's fifth at the Sibelius Hall. Sounds like a good matchup, if you ask me. He was the music director at the Hanover Radio Philharmonic from 2014 to 2023, and he was the head guy at the Helsingborg Symphony in Sweden from 2006 to 2014. So steeped in Nordic and German culture, although he's originally from the UK. And once again, if you'd been following Access Arts Live, just a couple months ago, November 28th, he was conducting the Cologne Philharmonic in Schumann, Mendelssohn, and Schubert Symphony number 7. So you know what he was like. Let me tell you a little bit more about these three people who are joining in on the Beethoven Triple Threat Concert, or the Concerto for Violin, Cello, and Piano. It's Christelle Lee, who was the first American to win the Sibelius violin competition a decade ago. And she now teaches at the Hochschule in Karlsruhe, but she's an accomplished circulating international violinist now. Similarly, Jonathan Ruseman, the cellist, he was a finalist in the Tchaikovsky competition in 2015. The same year, he was the youngest finalist, youngest prize winner at that competition that year. Again, if you were following Access Arts Live, we told you about he live streamed with the Gulbenkian Orchestra just a month ago, Friday, December 5th, where he played Sebastian Fagerlund's cello concerto called Nomad. He's Finnish and Dutch, a product of the Sibelius Academy and then the Kronberg School. And finally, finishing up is Dennis Kozukin on the piano. He's 40 years old, a little bit older, winner of the Queen Elizabeth piano competition in his time. So they're all top prize winners. But beyond that, he substituted in with the Stockholm Royal Phil earlier last year, and they described him as an international pianist very much in demand. So he's another top guy. You've got people suited for the music they're playing. Looks like a sparkling evening, early in the evening in Europe, and a morning concert in the US. Then an hour and a half later, at 7 o'clock in the evening, top conductor Nikolai Shep-Znader of the French National Orchestra of Lyon leads the Royal Stockholm Phil in Augusta Holmes's La Nuit et l'Amour and Elgar Second's Symphony, and is joined by the Swedish soprano Christina Nelson for songs by Richard Strauss. That's Thursday, January 15th at 7 in the evening in Stockholm, 1 o'clock in New York, 10 o'clock in the morning in LA. Shep-Znader is as I mentioned, he heads up the National Orchestra in Lyon. He's been there since 2020, and they just extended until 2027, so they like him. He has been the conductor, a guest conductor at the Swedish Chamber Orchestra and at the Mariinsky Theater Orchestra, so recognized by top groups. Originally from Copenhagen, why does he not have a Danish name? Because his parents were Polish and Jewish. He won the Queen Elizabeth Music Competition in Brussels back in 1997. Anyway, this first piece, La Nuit et l'Amour, The Night and Love by Augusta Holmes, was part of a large-scale choral and orchestral piece that she composed for the Universal Exposition in Paris in 1889, back in the days when the French were like on top of the world, and they'd hold exhibitions like that, and everybody came. They started this whole thing of having World's Fairs, basically in Paris, I think. So then they do the Strauss pieces they're doing. They'll do Zu Eignung. Anyway, and then Ich trage meine Minne, then Wiegenlied and Morgen and Cecilia. And this will be Christina Nielsen. She was singing at the Concert House last year as the soloist in Mahler's Symphony. She She made her debut in Stockholm singing Aida, and she has also subsequently sung it to acclaim with the Metropolitan Opera in New York, and was named a court singer of the Swedish Royal Court in 2025. So, and again, she was live streamed back on July 25th by Stage Plus. She was singing the role of Eva at the Bayreuth Festival in their production of Wagner's Die Meistersinger. And she's something of a Wagnerian. She has sung Elizabeth and Tannhäuser at the Frankfurt Opera, and she made her breakthroughs at the Bayreuth Festival as Freya in Das Rheingold and Dritte Norn in Götterdämmerung. And then they will close up with Edward Elgar's Symphony No. 2, his tribute to the recently deceased King Edward VII. Again, 2 lovely concerts coming to you from Scandinavia, free of charge. We don't have anything yet to report for you on Friday, but as I said in beginning, you never know. Sao Paulo Orchestra, Gulbenkian Orchestra, St. Petersburg and Moscow, they sometimes don't announce until the day of a concert. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but there are lots of things that don't make any sense to me. Let's move on to Saturday. Saturday, January 17th, Kirill Petrenko is leading the Berlin Philharmonic in the majestic Mahler's 8th Symphony, also known as the Symphony of 1,000, with the Berlin Rundfunkchor, the Salzburg Bach Chor, the Berlin Cathedral Chor, and soloist. Do I have a picture of him for you? Yes, and I have completely forgotten to show you all the different pictures of the other orchestras I was talking to you about, which is, well, that's kind of a shame. And I'll have to get back to that and fix that in some other way. Where is the photo here? Here's Kirill Petrenko, in case you want to see what the guy looks like. So this will be a massive choral event with all these choirs. It also has a number of soloists. They're dividing up the solo parts. So there are 3 sopranos, Jacqueline Wagner, Golda Schultz, and Yasmin Delfs. 2 altos or mezzos, Beth Taylor and Fleur Barron. The tenor is Benjamin Bruns, the baritone, Gi-Hoon Kim, and the bass, Le Bou. This is an 80-minute symphonic cantata with a huge orchestra and 3 separate choirs. So if you're into the choral music, tally ho. It will cost you €9.90. They don't give it away free at the Berlin Phil. And merrily we roll along. And now I'll start putting everybody's pictures up for you, the way I had planned on doing. And I'm sorry I messed that up with those 2 concerts. What do we have next? Ah, yes. This will be on Saturday as well, some hours after the Berlin Phil. The Detroit Symphony brings in another rapidly rising star conductor, Delyana Lazarova, for Weber's Overture to Oberon, Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 4, the Italian Symphony, and Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 2 with Jonathan Biss at the piano, Saturday, January 17th. That'll be at 8 o'clock Detroit time, which is 5 o'clock in LA. It's also 8 o'clock in New York. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning here in Europe. Sunday noon time down under in Australia. Or a little, that's if you're in Sydney or Melbourne, a little earlier if you're in Perth on the West Coast. Jonathan Biss is the perfect person to have come in and play Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 2. He has put out entire books on Beethoven from starting in December 2020. Starting in September 2019, he did a whole season focused on Beethoven's piano sonatas with more than 50 recitals around the world, playing the complete sonatas at Wigmore Hall and Berkeley, and went to a lot of other places with it. He's been teaching at the New England Conservatory of Music since 2021. You can't get somebody better than Jonathan Biss to play this. You might get someone as good, but you're not going to get anybody better just be a matter of style. So they'll do that, and then they'll finish up with the Italian Symphony, which somehow these non-Italian composers, Tchaikovsky did the same thing. They go to Italy and they get inspired, and they write imitation Italian music. And I mean no disrespect, but it's a thing for European conductors. As for Lazarova, she is starting this year the guest conductor of the Utah Symphony and the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestras, which is getting plugged into place. But again, if you follow Access Arts Live, last June 6th, we told you she was live streaming with the Sao Paulo Philharmonic, and they did Tabakova, Benjamin Britten, and Gustav Holst. And then May 16th, she was with the Frankfurt Radio Symphony, doing Boulanger, Dutilleux, and Beethoven's Second Symphony. So follow Access Arts Live. I'm telling you, you see everybody all the time. You really get to know them. She's a Bulgarian, also a violinist, won the 2020 James Conlon Conductor Prize at the Aspen Music Festival, then spent 3 years assisting Sir Mark Elder at the Halle Orchestra and directing the Halle Youth Orchestra. And she was also helping Christian Macellaro in both Cologne and with the Orchestra Nationale de France. So, I mean, she is understudied with top people, and she's just blossoming now. And Yadar Bignamini at Detroit, the music director at Detroit, he just brings in these great people. So we'll see how well these two people cook together. And then there's another concert on Saturday evening. I'm taking them a little out of temporal order. But hey, nobody's perfect, right? What do we have now? Now we go to Cincinnati with Christian Macellaro, having just spoken of the man. Christian Macellaro leads the Cincinnati Symphony through an American Voices tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. this Saturday, January 17th, with, among other things, Grammy Award-winning bass Morris Robinson reading a new work by Pulitzer Prize-winning poet Rita Dove. That's at 7:30 in the evening in Cincinnati, 4:30 on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, 11:30 Sunday morning down under in Australia. They'll start with Margaret Bonds's Montgomery Variations, which was her tribute to the civil rights leader Rosa Parks. Then they'll do Barber's Adagio for strings with an original poem by Rita Dove that was commissioned by the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra. And it will be Morris Robinson who will be reciting that poem. Who is Morris Robinson? I had information all written down about him. He is very much a guy on the move as an operatic bass tenor. He'll be doing in the rest of this season in 2026, first half of 2026, he'll be doing Aida down in Australia in the direction of Zeffirelli. He'll be doing Don Carlo in Dallas and Wagner in Atlanta. Who is Rita Dove? Former poet laureate of the United States back in the 1990s, former poet laureate of Virginia back in the early 2000s, teaches creative writing at the University of Virginia since 1989. Way back in 1987, she was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry for a volume of her poems that came out. If you don't know her, she's written an awful lot of poetry since, and I can commend it to you. They will then finish up with Wynton Marsalis's Blues Symphony, parts 2, 3, and 4. Swimming in Sorrow, Reconstruction Rag, and Danzo y Mambo, Coro y Samba. And there you have it. Their Martin Luther King Jr. Tribute. The Cleveland Orchestra did one just yesterday or today, and there was the Atlanta Symphony we told you about, did a live stream of a King memorial concert or celebration concert just this past Saturday. I'm telling you, follow Access Arts Live, you get all the action. Okay, then we have two more things to tell you about, all right? Briefly, Sunday, January 18th, wait a second. Let me change the pictures here to get this right. This next one is a very German event. So if you're not German, I don't know how much you'll go for it if you don't speak German. There are the two people in it. Sunday, January 18th, the Cologne Radio Philharmonic hosts top German musical personalities Jutz Alsmann and Daniel Hope in their favorite jazz and classical selections. That's at 7 in the evening on Sunday in Europe, 1 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. These two people, Alsmann and Hope, are both noted radio personalities in Germany who spend their time respectively, Alsmann on jazz and Hope on classical music. They'll be joined by Fatma Said on vocals and Alma Naidu on jazz vocals. And the conductor of that orchestra is David Brophy. Now, finally, there's one more thing to tell you about briefly. I will not give you a full workup on it. I will do a separate full workup on it later this week, as I always do with operatic selections, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to opera. And this is opera, again, free of charge. Saturday, January 17th, the Vienna State Opera live streams Jules Massenet's Manon, with Christina Mkhitaryan in the role of Manon and Benjamin Bernheim as the Chevalier de Grieux. That's the Chevalier gets to sing that wonderful la da dee da dee da dum da dum la dee dee dee. It's beautiful, beautiful. Tough to sing at the end though, challenging. Anyway, this will be Benjamin Bernheim. He just did this role with the Paris National Opera last year to vibrant critical acclaim. He was named in 2025 the Singer of the Year by Opus Classic. So, top guy. Christina Mkhitaryan has been making debuts recently, and as Marie Stuart with the Dutch National Opera, as Tatiana in Eugene Onegin at the Lycée in Barcelona, and as Mimi in La Bohème at the Met. So people who like opera are liking her. I mean, top people. I can show you a couple more photos so you know who these people are going to be. I have a photo of Benjamin as he appeared in the Paris production just last year, very casually. And the interesting thing about this is then I can then show you a picture of Mkhitaryan in the current production at Vienna. So both of them sitting on a park bench. If you ask me, it's something I would never want to miss, an opera absolutely free of charge from one of the top opera companies in the world, the Vienna State Opera House. And it raises the question, if Vienna State Opera House can give this away free of charge, why can't the Paris National Opera? Why can't the English opera houses do it? Why can't La Scala in Milan do it? Why not build a massive global audience by not charging anything for it and really publicizing it? And then once you have that massive global audience, then you can monetize it. That's what sports has been doing for the last 70 years, and they've become fabulously rich doing so. We're here at Access Arts Live to encourage the performing arts to do likewise. I can only just say chapeau, hats off to Vienna State Opera for leading the way and offering to all the opera lovers in the world the opportunity. And then we will do our best to try to also improve on your marketing and make sure all of our followers know about it. So later in the week, I will have a new and separate piece out to tell you about this particular opera. Folks, I hope that one, some, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. I'll remind you in closing, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and or LinkedIn to make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in this new year. And while you're at it, if you follow us on Facebook, it's very easy for you then to invite all of your friends and contacts with one click to follow us as well, so you can share this, all these moments of truth and beauty created in real time for you and the in-person audience together. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button.